Well, former President Trump making his third visit to Wisconsin this election year, holding a rally in Racine where he slammed President Biden on issues like the border crisis, crime, and the economy. It comes less than a month before Republicans will hold their convention in nearby Milwaukee. Let's bring in NewsNation contributor and associate research scholar and lecturer at Princeton University, Dr. Lauren Wright, and Democratic strategist and founder of Third Degree Strategies, Max Burns. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Nick.
Dr. Wright, I'm going to just jump in there and start with you. President Trump at his Wisconsin rally saying this about next week's debate after recently calling for President Biden to be drug tested. Let's take a look at this video and discuss it on the other side.
Is anybody going to watch the debate? He's going to be so pumped up. He's going to be pumped up. You know all that stuff that was missing about a month ago from the White House? What happened? Who left and somebody didn't pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine? I wonder who that could have been. I don't know. Actually, I think it was Joe.
Lauren, Max, you and I have all been watching Mr. Trump long enough to know that that was tongue-in-cheek. I don't think Mr. Trump really believes Joe Biden is doing cocaine and that whole thing there. But it did get a rise out of the crowd. What do you think his comments, Lauren, actually indicate as the debate approaches?
This is just Trump's style of campaigning. It's really personal. It's hyperbolic. It is divisive. And there's probably some swing voters that watch that and say, if he could just stick to the policies, maybe I could throw my support behind this guy because I'm so unhappy with Biden. But it's just this kind of thing, Nick, the personal insults, the stories that, yes, they get a lot of attention and they're entertaining in some aspects, but Trump has an inability to stick to the policies in a way that would really benefit him in this election. He's ahead in every swing state poll average, and he just can't get out of his own way.
Max, the White House's slam claims that the president appears to be disoriented at times or froze most recently at an event, a fundraiser last weekend. I want to show that video. Max, you've seen this. Is this just a moment, or do voters and supporters of President Biden have reason to be concerned when they see scenes like this where President Obama seems to be leading President Biden off stage?
Well, I think things like this Racine rally are great evidence of what we're seeing now in the Politico Ipsos poll, which is that a lot of voters who are not MAGA faithful are just checking out because of the nastiness, because of the lies, because of the flood of manipulated content that's showing up on social media. And that's not going to work well for Donald Trump, who needs to actually win some of these independent voters over. Yet all of the evidence seems to be that the more he talks, the less interested they are in humoring him. And I don't see why that would be surprising when we see just from that video nothing but lies upon lies upon lies.
You guys, I want to touch on a couple more things before I run out of time with you both. Dr. Wright, the results of that Virginia primary in the district of the 5th district, still too close to call this morning. What's that race tell you about the current state of the GOP?
Hundreds of votes apart, and we don't even really know what will happen. It's very divided, the GOP, and unfortunately it's divided between Trump demanding loyalty from these MAGA candidates and trying to push them along, and the more moderate candidates that might not win House districts, but we really need them to win Senate races, for instance. And, you know, a lot of the Trump stuff, I think this is in the same exact vein. The video of Biden speaks for itself. The majority of voters think he's too old. They think the age is an issue. It's not good to deny those things are happening. But if Trump could just step back and stop insulting Biden, all of the video there is plenty fodder for voters to deal with on their own. Trump doesn't need to underline it and draw attention to it and insult Biden and his supporters.
And Max, last question. I've got 30 seconds there. Mr. Trump made it clear that he actually likes the Badger State after slamming it a few weeks ago. Will this be enough to right the ship before the Republican convention?
I'm not sure. I think what you see here is Donald Trump for the first time in these rallies doing damage control, which is something he's never really felt the need to do before. And I think if he's doing it, that indicates that at least privately, he's a little worried this stuff is starting to weigh on his campaign.
Max Burns, Dr. Lauren Wright, want you both here sitting with us in the studio in Chicago the next time you're in the Midwest.
Oh,
thank you both for joining me. Love it. Max, grab your cup of coffee and join us as well.
Definitely. Thank you.
You two have a good day. Let's get to some of our